I did not expect this. And the message I'm being asked to give is I only have a glimpse of it. Thoth just asked me to do this, and he did give me enough to encourage me to trust. He wants me to be able to do this more live and to transcend any degree to which I've felt shielded by using AI images and a delay in posting. So with this, I invite you into an incredible opening of the Lionsgate portal on this full moon. And I give you Thoth. Mysteries reveal themselves in time, and yet much transcends time. To be present with how you really function as a conscious being, you must be able to accept that time itself is not fully linear. Sequence happens. Events can be placed in an order and understood in this way. There's a momentum of energy that moves through his story and does indeed directly influence the movement on the material plane. And yet, in every era, your soul has witnessed from a place that rests beyond time. From this place, beyond what we know together as the earth, you have been in witness for a very broad phase of existence. And in this witness, you have become something. You have become something that does indeed include the experience of being present consciously in your bodies. These experiences were always a dualistic framework that allowed your soul in a witnessing position to integrate with your conscious self, which you knew by birth and name. And in this integration, your various capacity to act was determined in great part by your overall commitment to presence on the earth. This overall commitment existed in a framework that knew full well that there were direct reasons you were incarnate during certain phases. Now, this day, this time is changing. This shift in time delineates a fundamental new era. This era is to last for what you would consider several decades. It is crucial that you appreciate that the opportunity exists for you to experience these next several decades in a much richer depth of presence. Within this presence, you can be for a much greater and deeper and broader and truer experience of living. This depth of experience is in many ways comparable to a much greater extent of years during other eras. I say this to you slowly, that you may contemplate it repeatedly. You must learn to value the depth and the richness of your experience, because it is also possible to pass through the same period of annual turnings without nearly as much presence. The opportunity exists to be present now in a way that shifts you into this deeper momentum. And several factors are crucial for you to embrace. First and foremost, the way you dream of intimacy has come to a critical turning. This dreaming must be viewed through a lens that is much broader than the one you are likely using. It includes a cursory awareness that you have been sharing with many, hundreds, for thousands of years. This sharing has been deeply transformational. You have access to the memory of this sharing, and you must allow yourself to become the kind of person who can be at peace with the knowledge that you have shared this deeply with others who you may now know in different ways. This change is happening now. It was foretold. We have alluded to it, and yet it is now that you must make it. To appreciate that the contrast in the influence of this awareness can greatly confuse you is to recognize that it is also a time of greater fidelity. I encourage you to embrace a care, a restraint, and a sense of sacredness around how you share both your intimacy and the sexuality that stems from it. To be present with the necessity of this change is to recognize that there have been several eras that you have recently passed through, during which intimacy was purposefully designed to be used in a different way. Many beings incarnated during these times at a particular age in order to create themselves during the opportunity to express in this manner. It was designed to digest karma. It was designed to destroy violence. And yet it initiated a pattern of events that was deeply damaging to the human collective psyche. This is turning now. The transgressions that you have passed through are indeed unacceptable. It is necessary that you have a much more present awareness of how intimacy works. The vibrations on which you share are designed to be much more valuable. You currently think in a way that is actually shared. You are thinking with others. Most commonly, you are thinking with those you love and trust. And yet, under many circumstances, you are spending your time with many who you do not love and trust. And it is difficult to maintain active boundaries that allow you to prevent them from being a deep part of your presence of thought. And as a result, you are not capable of activating the presence of your spiritual interconnectedness. Because on one level, you are advancing into this potential, and on another, you are negating your potential by spending time with those who you do not really trust. To make this change is to seize the true reins of your active time. To do this is to recognize that what you share is far more sacred when you appreciate it with the depth that is actually impacting you. And to do this, we must return to the awareness I introduced you to. During every era in which you have incarnated and will incarnate, your soul is present in a way that does not forget. Your soul actively communicates with your spirit. Your spirit maintains the presence on the earth of the fulfillment of your earthly days and nights. The delineation is crucial. Your soul does not sleep, not in the manner that you would presume. Your spirit does. And when your spirit sleeps on certain levels of vibration, you do not have access to the potentials it expresses. And thus, some forms of human sharing are possible during some eras, dependent on what aspect of your spirit is sleeping. The complexities involved in the introduction to the truth of the breadth of this are many. To recognize that it is essential that you have the beginning of an understanding of these themes in order to be fully present with what is occurring, you must simply agree to learn. I am only reaching you at a certain depth this way. The computers are designed to give you the capacity to share with others in a form that is, to you, more tangible. Because you can return to the same message, you actually have the active grounds to share and to reference and to communicate around. I invite you to use this message in this way, because I am here with many who you know. We exist in a form and a presence that bridges the space between your soul and your spirit. This is where we are centered, and we can reach you much more easily than you presume. When you give us permission to be an active part of your thoughts, we begin to initiate our influence on a deeper level. And as we do this, we gain the opportunity to help guide you into a true connection with your soul and your spirit in the manner that is possible now during this new era. This era demands much of you. And most fundamentally, you begin to envision what is possible with the breadth of awareness that takes you beyond this lifetime. This is not an option. If you do not engage it, you cannot cross into the potentials we offer you. You will not experience the next several decades at the same depth of presence that I encourage you to revere. The potential exists for you to experience every day, every minute, and much of the night with a far greater depth of presence, one that is roughly equivalent to 5 times as much presence as you have experienced in your recent years. This is a rough way of expressing to you that the potential exists now for you to go much deeper into your life and into your body. It demands that you open yourself to the potentials to exist with less and more than you have known. There is much that will only be possible to explain to you if you can grasp these roots. The soul that you share is a soul that was present when you existed in other eras. And in these eras, in many ways, you were more awake. Your spirit was awake in a form that it has been asleep. Your soul knows your spirit through a set of vibrational interconnections that it prefers during those eras. And thus you are now encountering a great deal of resistance to your intentional choices, specifically because your soul prefers the interconnected web, the weaving of vibrational presence that it has experienced already during previous incarnations. It is inviting you to prioritize reclaiming this potential in your life now. And yet, the dreams, the consciousness, and the presence that are possible in this form are so far beyond anything you have been exposed to in your conscious waking life that it is a destruction of much of what you have known to be present with it, even to the extent that you can conceive it. There's more. We have recently been preparing you for this depth of change. The repeated invitation to say yes leads to this. Are you here on a depth, in a way, with the will to accept this transcendent connection? You will know yourself, and yet it will take time for this to make sense and to set into place. You will remember. You will remember so vividly and with such presence that what you have known to be real will be far less pronounced. To the extent you anticipate this through a false set of ideas or expectations, your ideas and expectations themselves will dissolve. Do not fear that you can sabotage this. Simply reorient yourself on the willingness. To re-express your willingness to be reclaimed by your soul is to embrace the experience that you held thousands of years ago during eras when the sanctity of being in a body, in communion with the elements, in the presence and the witness of the divine, was far more crucial and central in your consciousness than the synthetic diversions that you are currently entrapped within. To embrace these memories is to share them with those who you have already shared with. Trust each other, and we will be with you. That is enough. I feel like I should say something, but I don't know what to say. I'm going to stay with this.